All right, guys, for today's lesson, you're going to need this sheet that says multi-step equations with variables on one side. So we're going to start off and just it should be a review for most of you here. If we're looking at number one, I see there's some multiplication going on here. I got addition, subtraction. But what I want to remember, if there's anything that I need to distribute, and that again is shown by a number that's outside of a parentheses, that's what I want to do first. So I'm going to draw an arrow in from that number that's outside the parentheses to every single piece that's inside. Now remember, I don't draw an arrow to anything that's outside because that's not being multiplied by that 3. It's 3 times everything that's inside that parentheses. Okay, so it's 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 8n, which gives me 24n. And then I bring down the minus 2 and my equals negative 107. Okay, so if I want to combine like terms on the same side right now, I'm going to look for my variables first. And I see there's only one variable out there, one piece that's got a variable in it. So that's just 24n I'm going to bring down here. And when I got more than one thing going on, a lot of times I have to cross it off. That way I know I've used it. Okay, and then what's left, I have a 15 and I have a minus 2. So 15 minus 2, that gives me a positive 13. Okay, equals negative 107. And then it's now just an easy two-step equation. We're going to subtract 13 to both sides, subtract 13 there. So that cancels 24n equals negative 107, take away 13. And we get negative 120. And my last step, divide by 24 to everything. And we see we get an answer of n is equal to 5. Okay, when I have a lot of work going on there, it's a good thing I circle it. I write what the variable is, equals, and the number. Okay, moving on to number 2. I see this time I got a bunch of numbers and operations on the right side instead of the left side, but that doesn't matter. We still treat it the same way. So I see what needs to be distributed. There's this 5 that's directly in front of that parentheses. That negative 7x is not in front of the parentheses. Therefore, that's not getting arrows into what's inside the parentheses. Okay, so what I can do at this time, I can bring down that negative 119, bring down the equals, bring down that negative 7x because you're not ready for that yet. But then I distribute the 5 to this negative 7x. So 5 times negative 7 is negative 35, and 5 times negative 7x would be negative 35x. And then a positive 5 times a negative 7 is negative 35. Okay, so now I can start combining like terms. So the left side I'm going to just rewrite as negative 119 equals negative 7 and a negative 35 come together. That gives you negative 42x. And then I got minus 35. Okay, and then I want to keep solving, so I'm going to add 35 to both sides. Okay, add 35 there. So this cancels. Negative 119 plus 35, that's going to give me a negative 84. Then I bring down this negative 42x. Be very careful that when you're bringing your work down, like if there's a negative, it follows it down, or you don't lose it there. Now I divide everything by a negative 42. That cancels. That leaves me a positive x, which is what I wanted. And when these two divide, negative over negative is a positive, and it's going to be a positive 2. Okay, number 3. Draw an arrow from the 2 into the parentheses. So 2 times negative 7a is negative 14a. 2 times 8 is positive 16 equals 114. All right, we're going to subtract 16 to both sides. And when I do that, that cancels. So I got negative 14a equals 114 take away 16 is 98. All right, I'm going to divide everything by negative 14. And this cancels, leaves you positive a. Positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative, and 98 divided by 14 is 7. So I get an answer of a is equal to negative 7. Okay, number 4. I'm going to go ahead and just bring down this negative 84 equals. But I will draw an arrow from that negative 3 to everything inside. So then I have negative 9a, and then a negative 12 when I multiply those in. Okay, I'm going to Add 12 to both sides. That cancels, so I'm left with negative 9a. And a negative 84 plus 12, well, that's going to give you a negative 72. And then I'm going to divide everything by negative 9. Cancels. So we get positive a. And these two negatives, that's going to make a positive. That's going to be positive 8. Okay, you guys go ahead and do number 5 on your own. Okay, number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. And all right, let's go to the next page. So number 11 now, we see we got a lot more going on here. We got distributing twice. Okay, so the left side right now, I'm just going to bring that 50 down, equals. But this 4 needs to go to what's directly in front of the parentheses, not to these ones back here as well. It only goes to this piece. Okay, so that's 4 times 1, which is 4. And a 4 times n, a lot of times it helps if you don't see a number, drop a 1 in front of it. So 4 times 1n gives you 4n. But back here I have this negative 2. This negative 2, notice I didn't say just a positive 2. That's a negative 2, a minus 2. That's being distributed inside to that parentheses here. So negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 8n is negative 16n. Okay, so now I'm going to combine like terms. I see on the left side is just 50. But over here, again, I want to look for my variables first. I've got a positive 4n and a negative 16n. Those come together, give you negative 12n. Then I've got a 4, then a minus 2. So 4 and a negative 2, that's going to be a positive 2. Okay, keep solving. So I'm going to subtract 2 to both sides. Try to isolate my variable. You get 48 is equal to negative 12n. We would divide both sides by negative 12 at that point. We get n is equal to a negative 4. Okay, number 12, we're going to go ahead and plug in this negative 6. Just distribute that right there. So you got negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 times a negative 5x is positive 30x. And then I come back here, take that negative 5, distribute. So negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And that's going to equal negative 76. Okay, we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. So I'm going to look for my variables first. 30x minus 15x. So I subtract those, you get 15x. And then I've got a negative 6 and a negative 10. That gives you negative 16 equals negative 76. Okay, so moving right along here, I see I'm going to add 16. So that cancels. So I'm left with 15x equals, and I combine these two right here, that's going to be a negative 60. So last step, divide by 15 to both sides. And x is going to be equal to negative 4. All right, we're going to go ahead and skip these last two, 13 and 14. So I want you guys now to go ahead and solve number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and last, number 20.